Hey, Purple fans. If you think the Vikings offseason is going smoothly, think again. We have rumors that could change everything for next season, and a behind-the-scenes move that caught many fans by surprise. Could the Vikings be preparing a big move in the transfer market? And what's more, a new player is arriving to strengthen the defense, but is it the right name? Stay with us until the end, and subscribe to the channel, so you don't miss any news about the Minnesota Vikings. Now let's get to the news. Vikings strengthen defense with signing of cornerback Tavier Thomas. With the official start of the 2025 NFL season, the Minnesota Vikings continue to strengthen their roster. Last Wednesday, the franchise made its external signings and free agency official, including well-known names such as Ryan Kelly, Will Fries, Isaiah Rodgers, and Javon Hargrave. However, the team surprised by announcing a reinforcement that had not been previously reported. Veteran cornerback Tavier Thomas. At 29 years old, Thomas arrives to add experience and versatility to the Vikings roster. Last season, he wore the Tampa Bay Buccaneers jersey, participating in all 17 games, although the majority of his snaps were on special teams, 388 in total, with only 45 defensive snaps. Before that, Thomas spent 3 years with the Houston Texans, where he had a more active role on defense and accumulated 19 starts. During his time with the Texans, he played alongside Jonathan Greenard and Blake Cashman, both now members of the Vikings defense, which could make it easier for him to adapt to the new system. Tavier Thomas's path to Minnesota. Thomas's journey in the NFL is a classic example of perseverance. He entered the league in 2018 as an undrafted free agent, initially signing with the Arizona Cardinals. However, he was released at the end of the preseason and found an opportunity with the Cleveland Browns, where he played 45 games over 3 seasons. It was in Cleveland that he crossed paths with Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, the current general manager of the Vikings, creating a connection that may have influenced his arrival in Minnesota. In his 7-year career in the league, Thomas accumulated 98 games, starting in 22 of them. His stats include 239 tackles, 6 tackles for loss, 2 QB hits, 2 interceptions, 6 passes defended, 6 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, and 1 sack. In addition, he has 1,668 defensive snaps and 1,869 snaps on special teams, a clear indication of his importance as a versatile and reliable player. Thomas arrives to strengthen the Vikings' special teams. One of Tavier Thomas's greatest assets is his ability on special teams, an area in which he stood out in 2024. According to Pro Football Focus, PFF, he received a grade of 90.5. Ranking among the 10 best players in the NFL in that role. His impact was felt in several phases of the game, including kick and punt returns, as well as punt and kickoff coverage. This reinforcement comes at an opportune time for the Vikings, who recently lost Trent Sherfield to the Denver Broncos in free agency. Sherfield was a key player on Minnesota's special teams last season, and Thomas appears to be a natural replacement to fill that void. Additionally, his experience as a cornerback adds an extra layer of depth to the roster, which could prove valuable down the stretch. Financial impact of the signing. At this time, the details of Tavier Thomas's contract with the Vikings have not been released. However, given his primary role on special teams and his secondary role on defense, the deal is expected to be modest financially and not significantly impact the team's 2025 salary cap space. With Thomas's arrival, the Vikings continue to build a competitive roster that balances youth and experience in pursuit of a winning season. Whether contributing on special teams or providing depth in the secondary, he has the potential to be a valuable piece in the team's rotation. With the addition of Tavier Thomas, the Vikings further bolster a roster that seeks to balance experience and youth. His versatility on special teams and his ability to contribute on defense make him a valuable addition to the team. Now, it remains to be seen how he fits into Minnesota's scheme and whether he can play a significant role in the 2025 campaign. Whether as a mainstay on special teams or a solid option in the secondary, Thomas has the potential to become a key part of the Vikings' rotation. Vikings consider signing Aaron Rodgers after Darnold and Jones exits. The Minnesota Vikings are considering signing one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history, Aaron Rodgers. With the recent losses of Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones in free agency, the team is looking for options to strengthen the position and remain competitive next season. Darnold signed with the Seattle Seahawks, while Jones accepted an opportunity to compete for the starting job with the Indianapolis Colts. That left the Vikings with just J.J. McCarthy and Brett Rippon on the roster. While McCarthy is seen as a promising player for the future, The team still appears willing to add an experienced name to guide the offense in 2025. And that's where Aaron Rodgers comes in. Officially released by the New York Jets on Wednesday, the four-time MVP quarterback has drawn interest from several franchises. According to journalist Diana Rossini, the Vikings are one of the teams keeping an eye on the veteran situation, and Rodgers himself is likely to consider Minnesota as his next destination. However, the competition is strong. The Pittsburgh Steelers and New York Giants are also appearing as potential interested parties. The question now is whether the Vikings will bet on McCarthy for the future or bring in a veteran heavyweight to lead the team immediately. The former Michigan quarterback missed his entire rookie season due to an injury, but is seen as a potential franchise quarterback. However, Rodgers' arrival could give the team an immediate chance to fight for something bigger without relying on the development of a young player. Rodgers' trajectory and what he can offer the Vikings. Aaron Rodgers had a disappointing stint with the New York Jets. His journey with the New York team started in disastrous fashion with an Achilles tendon injury in the first game of 2023. In 2024, he returned to the field, but was unable to lead the team to the playoffs, ending the season with a performance below expectations: 63% completions, 3,897 yards, 28 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. The Jets finished the campaign with a poor 5-12 record, which culminated in the decision to terminate the veteran's contract. Despite his performance below his standards, Rodgers remains a heavyweight in the league. His experience, intelligence on the field, and ability to decide games are still valuable characteristics for any team looking for a reliable quarterback. With the Vikings, he would have an interesting environment for a possible return, counting on elite receivers such as Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. With a well-structured offensive line and a scheme that favors veteran quarterbacks, Minnesota could be an ideal destination for Rodgers to seek one last great act in his career. The historical factor. Will Rodgers follow in Favre's footsteps? If Rodgers does indeed join the Vikings, it would add another intriguing chapter to the NFL's history. The move would be strikingly similar to what Brett Favre did years ago, when he left the Green Bay Packers, spent a season with the New York Jets, and then signed with Minnesota. Favre had a spectacular season with the Vikings in 2009, leading the team to the NFC Championship and nearly reaching the Super Bowl. Could Rodgers repeat that path and have one last great moment in the league wearing purple and gold? For now, the Vikings are weighing their options. If they go with Rodgers, they'll be banking on experience and a quarterback who, even at 41, can still make a difference. But if they decide to go with McCarthy, they'll be banking on the young quarterback's development to lead the franchise's future. In the coming days, this decision could define the direction of the team and, who knows, change the course of the NFL once again. While rumors about Aaron Rodgers in Minnesota have generated heated debate, all indications are that the Vikings are committed to J.J. McCarthy as the future of the franchise. There's still time for twists and turns in free agency, but for now, the team seems determined to move forward without the veteran quarterback. The big question that remains is, will McCarthy be ready to take over and take the Vikings to the next level? Only the 2025 season will tell.